Today on CityCast DC. When it's chilly out, there is nothing better than a cozy bar. And I've heard from a lot of people that vinyl bars are peak winter vibe. I'm a bit of a skeptic myself, but my colleague Julia Karron and Claudia Rosenbaum from Eater are both fans. About a year ago, they did their darndest to make the case that vinyl bars are the new speakeasies, and they shared tips and tricks to enjoying them. We're revisiting that conversation today, and I'll let you decide if they were convincing. Today is Wednesday, February 18th. I'm CityCast Priyanka Tove and for Bridget Todd, and here's what DC is talking about. Hi, Claudia. Thanks for being here.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Julia, great to have you as always.
Hey, Priyanka.
Claudia, we are so excited to have you here because Julia and I are on two kind of we have different perspectives on this whole vinyl bar explosion. I feel like every time I check the news, there's another vinyl bar that's opened up.
By the time we're done recording this episode, there will be another vinyl bar in the DC metro area. I swear.
Guaranteed. Yeah. And Julia's really into them. I thought that I would love them, but the ones that I visited, I'm a little skeptical of. And so we're really excited to have you here as someone who's written about this, researched this, to talk to us about this explosion of vinyl bars. And so, we're talking about places where record players are like central to their identity somehow, right? What exactly is a vinyl bar and why are these exploding all over the place right now?
I would say that vinyl bars, they're just these sort of cool listening destinations. Like it's a whole vibe. You walk in and, nobody has their cell phone out. It's sort of like you're kind of stepping back into time, maybe into like the 1970s, and where it's just, you go to someplace where you're kind of just chilling. And maybe the whole album just plays, the whole side of the album plays in the way that the artist wanted it to be played, like sort of like way they had curated it. And so it isn't just, one song to the next song and a whole different vibe, like each song. It's just more of just like a listening experience. And you might have heard this hit from the album, but you might have forgotten the other songs that are there, or like songs on the B-side. And I just feel like it's just a way for people, especially in today's environment, to like decompress and just make you forget about like your worries for the most part, I think.
So as the human who is pro vinyl bar on this chat, what to you makes a good vinyl bar? What distinguishes like the cream of the crop from ones where you're like, maybe not, I don't want to go there?
Well, definitely I'm going to say for me in DC, the Press Club is like the cream of the crop, just because they've seen to every detail in that bar. Not only you're in DuPont Circle, you go down the stairs, it's this like cool atmosphere. Someone's at the door, checks you in. It's very small. I'm not really sure how many seats, but it's not a big place. And they've got like seats in the bar and seats in the loungy sort of area. And, the music's playing and every detail, like when you get the menu for what the food is, it's a little vinyl cover of a record.
It's a sleeve, yeah.
Yeah, and the coasters are little vinyl records. And they even have this like 1970s old typewriter if you make a reservation. And they use that typewriter and will like type out a little note to you, and it's like waiting for you at the bar. So it's just like, I don't know, I just feel like you're like stepping back in time, and they've definitely like seen to every detail.
Right. They like really went all out with the theme. That's really cool. Are all vinyl bars like that? Because I feel like some of the places that I'm seeing advertised as vinyl bars, it's just a bar where they happen to have a record player in the corner. Like, how many places are actually like what you just described?
I think they all try and definitely make like vinyl a theme. Like they have the vinyl records there, they have the record player and so on, and they have these albums that maybe you haven't thought of in a while. But, not a lot of people have the space to devote the whole bar to a theme. So some of them are like speakeasies where there's like a restaurant on top, like Soused, where then you go down below into the basement and there's a room and it's like a speakeasy that they have. Or like Chicken and Whiskey is also another one where you pull open a refrigerator door and they've just like made it an area in there. So it's not the whole concept. It's just more of like, if you're in the know, kind of like a hidden kind of thing, which makes it all more fun.
Right. And then like Chicken and Whiskey, for example, I love that spot, like their speakeasy, as a place to go dancing. So I've been there a bunch of times, but it's definitely not, they're not playing a record from start to finish, right? It's like there is a record player.
It doesn't scream vinyl to you.
Right. It's a fun place to hang out, to go on a Saturday night, but the vinyl isn't the center point.
Yeah, I mean, some of these places, they might during the week have it more like chill and vinyl and just focusing on that. But on the weekends, they'll bring in a DJ like Grazi Mille. They have, it's a steakhouse. It's sort of like hidden in McPherson Square around there downtown. And you walk in, it's this whole like cool, you're in this like supper club where they like prepare your steak with like butter and melt it at the table. So it's like a whole thing, like a good date night, like martini kind of thing. So during the week, it's just very casual and, the record's spinning and so on. But then on the weekends, they do have DJs that come in and curate the shows. And it might be that I think recently they had someone who was just playing like 45s. So doing like whole sets of 45s. So you definitely have to change those up quickly.
So you mentioned that one of them is located on U Street, Chicken and Whiskey, although it's kind of more clubby. Press Club is located in DuPont. Where are the bulk of these vinyl clubs, vinyl bars located? Is there like a central point or are they really spread out?
I don't think so. I don't think there's like a vinyl club section
A vinyl neighborhood. I wish.
I mean, they might all go to the same record stores and get the same records. I don't really know. But, there's B-side in Fairfax. There's also a B-side in Baltimore. And the B-side said it's like the OG one. So that it's been around for a long time. And there's Canna in Adams Morgan, which plays more like Brazilian, caipirinha kind of music. Soest, which is on 9th Street. L.A. Betty in the Mount Vernon Triangle from the owners of a bake joint and Baked and Wired. The DJ booth is next to their natural wine bar. And it's another place where during the week it's chill, but they might have a DJ that comes on the weekends. So I think they're kind of spread out.
What do you think is like the ideal outing or ideal group for a vinyl bar hang? Like, is it you're going with your best friend? Is it best for a date night? Is it best for like you're catching up with someone after a long time? Paint the scene for me.
I just feel like it's such a great like night out. I mean, it's so expensive now to go out that you're not going out every night kind of thing. So it's a real treat. And, you're going to be spending the cocktails all over the city. They're not cheap. So you're definitely, in for an experience. So I think it's usually like a one-on-one thing. Like I would say date night, or just somebody who's like special to you. And it's a good way to like, you can also catch up with like an old friend or so on because it's not like the music's blaring. It depends.
So I have been going to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas every year for a minute, and it's truly one of the highlights of my whole year. I go to a ton of conferences and events, and it feels like a whirlwind of lanyards and talks, and I leave actually feeling exhausted, like, hey, I showed up but have no takeaways. South by Southwest is different because I actually leave feeling nourished and energized for new ideas. Because South by Southwest is where the world's most creative, inspired, and eclectic minds gather to shape what's next. It's the ultimate gathering for the global creative community, where thought leaders, filmmakers, musicians, and other professionals across industries share the same space. And this year, I will actually be there talking about how we can make sense of this very particular moment we're all in media and culture. Innovation, film and TV, music and culture all collide when the 2026 South by Southwest conferences and festivals take over Austin, Texas, this March 12th through March 18th. For one eclectic week, the city becomes a playground for boundary-pushing ideas, world premieres, and live performances that turn into beneficial experiences. I once went to a secret pop-up concert of Solange Knowles at South by Southwest that genuinely changed my life. At South by, you can gain access to new ideas, people, and opportunities that do not happen anywhere else. So start planning your adventure in Austin and secure your badge now at sxsw.com/DC.
Okay, so putting my skeptic hat on.
Here we go. We can have a whole argument about it. I want to hear it. Go.
Let's do it. The reason that I have been a little bit disappointed, I guess, by my vinyl bar experiences. And I haven't been to Press Club yet, and it does sound like the goal. Like that sounds like exactly what I want. Something low key where we're really about the music, but you can have a quiet conversation if you want. Some of the vinyl bars that I visited, maybe it's because I went on a Friday or Saturday night, but I was hoping for that kind of chill atmosphere. And instead, it was like really, really, really loud music, but everyone is also talking and they've cultivated this atmosphere of like chattiness. And so you're not listening to the music, but you also can't really talk to your friend because it's too loud and you can't hear each other. And so I've just kind of found myself sitting there being like, what is
It's
this?
just a bar.
What am I meant to be doing here? I don't know if that is also just me all of a sudden becoming really old in like my mentality and my soul, but it's made me feel kind of like I'm a grump. Defend the vinyl bar scene, Julia.
So I think there is something to be said about going on like a Friday or a Saturday night when you know that it's really going to be packed. I have been to Press Club when it is like lines out the door and you really cannot hear yourself think. You can hear the music, but barely. That is kind of a drawback. I will say that one of the things that I think vinyl bars build on in DC is this idea of the speakeasy in DC that is sort of going away a little bit. And this is sort of the thing that's replacing it. It's supposed to be like a small, intimate atmosphere. I'm a big proponent of like when you're eating or when you're drinking or you're meeting up with someone, you're putting your phone down purposefully. You're not doing electronics. I think there's also this kind of going to analog kind of thing that people are really, really into. Like if you think of like the Kodak snap cameras that like Priyanka we had as kids, right? You go to the zoo and you snap this like Kodak photo of a giraffe. Those are making a comeback. I think that's part of why vinyl is making a comeback. And I think the intent behind it is, yes, like on a Friday night when it's popping, maybe not the time to go. I think the time to really go is it's a Wednesday or like a Thursday or something like that. You're going to be one-on-one with someone. It's not a large group. And you really want to go and just enjoy the music. I've been to Press Club on a Tuesday and they played like Arctic Monkeys AM, which is one of my favorite albums from start to finish.
Yeah.
And like it was perfect. Like it was no phones. I had their Bloomin' Onion, which was awesome. And I had like 3 drinks. And like, yes, it's expensive, but I think for that kind of boutique-y, speakeasy feel that's sort of leaving DC, I think that's the void that vinyl bars are trying to fill. I don't know how successful it is, but I do appreciate the effort.
And then also, I was just talking, not to go on just about Press Club, but they also do their cocktails, or sometimes like a David Bowie cocktail, or I think they did one for that night, the Arctic Monkeys. I'm not really sure, but they have one called a Desperado from like an Eagles song. So they really definitely take the theme to the...
So they'll like come up with a cocktail that's relevant to the actual record they're playing. That's cute.
Yeah, the whole point is it's a whole experience. It's not just like, oh, you're going to listen to necessarily like one album. Like sometimes the food and the drink like pair with the album. Like it's named after a song or like a certain band member or something like that. And like, I don't know, it is that attention to detail that I really appreciate in like any kind of bar generally.
Yeah, that's very compelling. You guys are making a great case. Are there other places like Press Club that you think achieve that vibe and that dedication to the vinyl craft?
I mean, I think Grazi Milli, I was just over at Grazi Nona for brunch, but I did see the DJ area and the whole room. It just looks like that's a good place also to go, like on a chill night, not on a Friday, Saturday. And because, it's dark in there and looks like a good place to get like a martini. And if you like steaks, I just think like the music there you'd be able to hear it and you'd probably be able to enjoy it. And also a lot of these places, the albums, I feel like they try and like source some like local DC albums. So, bring in like the DC, like old stuff from the community.
Oh, wow. That's fun. Can you think of any examples? Does anything come to mind?
I mean, I did see when the Grazi Milli people had that 45 night with the DJ, it was a lot of go-go music. I can't think of any exact album, but I was listening to it. Yeah.
I will say one of my favorites for this kind of thing, Priyanka, I know you're a big Lapis fan. So La Pop, which is their underground bar, has vinyl nights. So they'll like pick a night and it'll be vinyl like start to finish. They don't necessarily pair the drinks and the food with it, but it's the food from Lapis. So you're getting food you know and love, drinks that are not quite curated to the music, but you're getting an underground kind of speakeasy cool place, a little bit quieter from the hubbub of Adams Morgan, which tends to be really loud and sometimes obnoxious.
Hubbub is exactly the right word.
Correct. And that space that they've been able to make is just really cool. I don't know what speaker system they use, but the music is really clear and very crisp. And you think it wouldn't be because it's underground and it's supposed to be like all harsh walls, but it's surprisingly soft. I don't know how they do it, but they managed to do it.
That's really cool. Yeah, I've never been to a vinyl night there. I didn't know they did that, but I do love La Pop as a space. It does feel very intimate, and I can see how it would be a good pairing with vinyl. Claudia, you also mentioned B-Side, which I think you said is in Fairfax. What's that spot like?
So it's from the Mobius Records owner, Dempsey Hamilton. And he's not affiliated with the bar, but he uses the records at his record shop just to like refresh their collection. They say they have 250 records in their permanent collection. So there's definitely a lot to choose from. And another thing just to mention is, you know, a lot of these places, they'll let you look through the albums, but you can't pick your own songs. Yeah, so I know my husband gets frustrated. He was like, I want to go be able to bring my album and have them play it and pick my own song. So I don't think people should definitely not expect that there.
Maybe your husband can make a deal with one of these vinyl bars to have like an open vinyl night, like an open mic night, but with records.
He would love that. But I did do a little history before we got on, and it said that these sort of started in Japan in the 1950s, and they were just like coffee houses. It was sort of a tradition in Tokyo, just these sort of like small coffee houses where people would, you know, play records, and it sort of like spread from there.
Why do you think that they resonate with the DC community?
I just think, you know, people want like a place just to chill out. I mean, there's so much going on here. You know, if it's not like a protest walking down the street or what's happening on the news and, you know, everybody's on their phone and it's just like a good opportunity just to like, you know, check out and just, you know, I think that's what we need right now. And it's just, you can just listen to music, have a cocktail, enjoy some good food, and you don't have to think about what's happening in the world for just a couple hours.
That is a beautiful picture.
Have we convinced you?
Yeah.
You have convinced me to give them a weekday shot. I think I've always gone on the weekend, and maybe that was me shooting myself in the foot. And I will try again, visiting a vinyl bar the way it is meant to be visited at the time it's meant to be visited. So maybe it was all my bad. It was great chatting with you both. And yeah, talk to you soon. Before we go, I want to give a huge thank you to our newest CityCast DC neighbors. Kimberly K, Stephanie M, Beth D, Nathan B, Joshua W, Mary K, Daniel S, Mary G, and Sarah N. Thank you so much for joining. And if you also want your name read out on the podcast, become a CityCast DC neighbor today. We're expanding, and this is a chance to support our work. It's $10 a month or $100 for the year, and you get cool perks like members-only events, ad-free listening, and a special neighbors-only events newsletter. Head to membership.citycast.fm to sign up. That's all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoy the show, text it to your friend who you want to visit a vinyl bar with. Bye!